All I had to do was type in PlayStation and this came up on their channel. So, are you very excited for this? Are you? The people who play fighting games will immediately tell you that, oh no 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 no, right? However, there might be some new fancy technology that would put our fears to rest. Any ideas why we say no 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 no, right? For this kind of controller, I guess I won't get a copyright strike. I assume I won't, but I might be wrong. Oh, straight away showing off Marvel Tokon. I wonder what this is promoting. That's very, very interesting. Right. Okay, so let me just boost this up a bit because it looks a bit 480p. How about some 4K quality there? Oh, yes. Yes, why not, let's say, right? In fact, why not even go to our lovely full screen? Right. PlayStation. It's a ball. It's an icon. It's a branding. It's a triangle, circle, and it's a hologram. No, it's the real first fight stick made by PlayStation. Wireless fight stick. You've got to say some magical words here, bruv, to get me interested. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. What was that? A hurricane? Ultra low latency response. This is what they're. They know. They obviously like. Oh. Okay, you can have it wired. Well, there you go, right? They obviously had some people give some feedback, I hope. And they are really pushing this for Tokon. Lever mode switch, very nice, yes. Lock button, very nice. Very tournament ready. DualSense touchpad up the top. And wavy stuff. Non-slip. Let me see it. Ah, yeah, probably. Toolless gate swap. Whoa. Wow. That is actually incredible. Wow. Is it that easy? It's got a battery for... Oh, right, to make it wireless. Oh, and PC as well. Ooh. And you can link it to and connect with audio. This is where we all get a bit scared, right? Ooh, nice carry case with the PlayStation logo. Marvel Tokon, you've got to need a stick to get to play this game. Why am I only seeing 8 characters, bruv? Why do I feel like it's bruv? They can't seriously just bring out a game with 8 characters, right? But okay, so here's the thing, right? So yeah, the stick looks good. Of course the stick looks good, right? The stick looks nice. It's very streamlined. I'm like how is this stick working? Is this like some new tech, bruv? Because I'm like, it looks thin, right? The traditional stick, you know, it has quite a bulk on it, and it needs space for all the micro switches and things. Yeah, maybe I'm just too old, right? But it looks quite thin. It looks like it's slanted. Wait, hold on. Wait, the sticks are actually the buttons are actually on a raised level? Okay, this might be some very, very new tech. We're just like, yeah, you know what? We don't even need to make them level. We're gonna lower the stick and then raise the buttons. Like, huh? You know, I can't fault it until I try it, but I'm like, wait, hold on. What? Why would you do that? Okay, there must be some tech thing going on here, but I'm like, okay. Looking at my stick, I'm thinking, wait a minute. In fact, the way it looks like it's just a fancy design thing, because, of course, the buttons is like kind of reminds you of a PS5, right? And then I'm shocked you didn't notice. Didn't notice what? The price. And then, and from what I can tell, the shaft is very long. So when you're trying to get your fingers around it, you're going to have more space, right? Because on my stick, my shaft is a bit small, right? But it still works perfectly fine. But here it's a longer one. So in fact, it might just actually, you know, in at the end of the day, it might all be the same thing. You get me? You get me, bruv? Right? And so I'm like, okay, right. So yeah, all right, yeah. How to see? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got it. Right. So yeah. I just, I mean, you know, when I first, you know, all I've seen of the stick is this. That's all I saw. So I never actually saw the sideways view. I just thought, okay, you know, sexy black, white, yeah, whatever. You know, but in fact, it's got like a little, yeah. It's just slapping another PlayStation on top. It's like, hey guys, remember PS5? Yeah, you've got that now on your stick. It's all looking the same. Right, yeah, man. It's all just so, you know, feng shui or something, right? Like, hey, man, everything looks the same. That's great. It all goes together, right? Did you say hurricane kick? Did you say hurricane kick? It's okay, man. A spinning hurricane kick, bruv. That's not, and that was that Tekken kick as well. I'm like, bruv, that's not copyright at all, is it? No. I should have done a dragon punch, bruv, and that would have been it. You're like, what? You what? Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, right? Same shape as the PS5. Oh, calm down now, my voice is getting hoarse. Right? Horse walks into a bar. Barman says, why the long face? That's right. Okay, next. So, as we were all talking, right? This is the main thing for fighting game players. It's ultra low latency response. Get ultra low latency response. It's not a tongue twister. Okay. Whenever a peripheral manufacturer says ultra low or almost no or lagless, we all go, huh. Right, let's let Nigel test this out for us, right? And yeah, a lot of peripherals controllers have been disappointing, right? Not just the game. The game itself is completely different. Of course, the PlayStation, the Xbox, PCs, all completely different, right? And even the model, even the game itself has a different response on each console. It's just like. Poof, right, but the controller, generally speaking, right, most wireless controllers are not fast enough for a fighting game player. They're just not. But there have been some interesting developments, and it's been very interesting to see, like, I think the PlayStation 4 or 5 controller with the whole Bluetooth thing has been really, really surprising. I think it's about the not response time, but it's in fact about the what's it called? It's called the checking of the input by the PlayStation. Right. So, for example, when you have an average wireless device, right, the computer or the device, the dongle, even if you like, right. Will check for an input, like for example, every like 250 milliseconds. Now on the PlayStation, at least the PlayStation 5, it's like 1000. So it's much more responsive, but it doesn't actually mean that the distance, the time between input press and input recognition is lower. It's nothing to do with it. But the point is, you get a more responsive, right, controller. Now, this one, which is the Vader, actually has also a 1000 millisecond dongle. So it's about the same. But for this, they're not telling us anything. They just say ultra low latency response. We're like, huh. But even if it's bad or not that good, it doesn't matter, because technically they also, not just wirelessly, but they also give you the wired connection. So you usually can then move on to complaining about the game itself or the monitor or the console or whatever, right? So, you know what I mean? Imagine if the stick control vibrates when you're playing. Yeah, some sticks tried to do that, and again, most players just turned it off. Just like, no, I don't need that, thank you. Right, but for the average person, it's probably fun, right? By the way, you didn't tell me if you could hear the fan, right? Because I've turned off the filter, right? So anyway, let's see. A lot of players are going to have new reactions when playing with one hand. Yes, right, exactly. So having it vibrate in your lap for the average person, right? The average enjoyer, cultured person probably enjoy that for certain fighting games, and so this controller will not be dead on arrival. Okay, I think you're about right there, Toxic. Yeah, between $400 and $600. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They have to advertise it as a premium product, and then maybe after the whole Tokon thing is finished, they might go, okay, let's just get rid of this on Black Friday for half the price. Sony can afford to make stuff and then ditch it. It's not really a problem. And what's funny? Just off topic, but not quite, right? I saw an advertisement for some computer shop selling hacked, jailbroken Vitas, which now can play everything. And I'm like, bruv, the PlayStation Vita is an underrated console, right? And it's an absolute shame that thing just stopped development. And now people have bought all the well, I don't know if they bought all of them, but they've bought a whole ton of Vitas and now just jailbroke them and just stuffed them full of emulators. And you're like, wow. The potential. Yeah, we know the potential of this console, but lots of people didn't. They completely missed out. I love my Vita, right? I love it. I can't remember where it is, and I'm trying to think of what game I wanted to play on it. But games, too many games, right? Yeah, rumor is that PlayStation is making another handheld system. I think, there's always going to be plans, right? There's always going to be plans, but they're gonna, they can afford to do research, development, right, and then go cancel. They have to look at the whole market with the whole Switch, and do they want to compete with Switch? Do they have titles that can compete with Switch, right? And of course, they're looking at the Steam Deck and the Razer Deck and all of those other things as well. So, durable, custom designed digital stick. This is definitely a new thing. This is, I'm going to guess, as DTG is saying, I think it's actually the Hayabusa type stick. You don't need to. No. I got a whole another lecture about Camber and higher grade sticks, bro. The Hayabusa stick is a great stick, and if you've got the digital one, right, it's literally like there's no sound, right? And this might be the same, and I think it's flatter as well. It doesn't have the amount of, because it's light based. There's no switches to switch out. It's like I was like trying to hook it up to my other thing. I was like, wait a minute, I can't do anything with this. It just comes in or comes out. That's it. You're like, oh, okay. But we'll see. I'm sure somebody will disassemble, right, this stick, because most people, again, most fighting game players want to have a micro switch stick. What have I got? Yeah, I'm using the. I took out my clicky Hayabusa and put in a silent Hayabusa into my current Hori fighting what's it called thing. And so here now, the funny thing is that they are using the new trend, which is mechanical switch buttons. So what that seems to be saying is that they are using now, instead of your traditional micro switch button, they are going to be using the keyboard switches, right? Which it's probably going to cost them a lot less in terms of production, right? And right, and they can still be clicky. They can still be clicky. There's a whole ton of different keyboard switches, and they can still be clicky. And it's kind of weird because in terms of customization, it's like it's going to technically it could like wipe out or damage, wipe out, destroy a kind of industry. If everyone starts switching to keyboard switches for their buttons, it's like, well, and the digital stick as well. That's the end of the arcade button and stick industry. That's it. They're done. It's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen with that. I'm going to go just grab my button. Hold on, I've got some spare buttons. So here is your typical average. This is actually a Hori arcade button. And I mean, when you look at it, it's like, well, isn't that a keyboard switch anyway? I think it technically is. It's just connector, right, for a button on off. That's all it is, right? But you see inside, right? Right. That's what it looks like. Okay. But in your newer arcade buttons, you literally have the same thing as the keyboard switch. Ugh. Right? And that literally can be replaced by any can be replaced by any modern keyboard switch. So you can get all types, clicky, silent, whatever, soft, button press, and you can just switch them out. But here, the traditional arcade one, you can't. Obviously, they're not interchangeable. So it's going to be interesting to see what this stick has in its parts, right? Because if it has traditional arcade buttons, then you can only use traditional arcade buttons to swap them out, because nobody will be happy at the beginning. Be like, oh no, I prefer my Sanwa, right? I don't like PlayStation buttons. I like Sanwa. It's not going with the whole collab, right? They're not saying with Sanwa buttons, the arcade enthusiasts' preferred button. They're not going with Hori or anyone, right? They've got their own brand, whatever, right? Who knows? Okay. I thought about they should make a PS Vita 2 that has the power of Steam. Yeah, they should, right? Absolutely. But I think the first thing the haters will say is there's no games, right? If you can't play Death Stranding 2 on your PS Vita 2, there's what's the point, right? What's the point in living, right? Need famous games on it, bruv. So I thought about replacing my HRAP 4 with the digital gate, but never got around to it. Still love the Neo stick with the clicks. Well, this is it, right? I mean, this right now is trying to appeal to the fighting game player, right? Very specific advert, right? Because the average person doesn't give a shit and doesn't understand anything, right? They're just like, what? Just I just want to do that, right? That's it, right? If it works, fantastic, and it will. Right, and then you're gonna you're gonna play your game for 3 weeks, and then get tired, and then just go try to sell this stick to someone. I don't care, man. I got all the endings, right? And it's got all the lovely little, typical kind of I'd like to say now standard kind of switches now to change your D-pad to analog or left or right stick, which is still absolutely terrible, and you definitely can't play these. Play certain games with a joystick. It's just not going to work anymore. It's done. It's finished. But sometimes you need to change something, and you can only use the sticks, right? So that's it. Okay. Mechanical switch buttons bad? No, not at all. Right. Again, for the average person, it makes no difference, right? It's like button press. That's it. The enthusiast, right, wants the sound they like. So some people like clicky, right? Some people want silent, and some people will just want the fastest response time possible, and they will spend hundreds and hundreds to get that, because as you know, right, when you're in a fighting game, you need the fastest response time possible, because if that dragon punch doesn't come out, bruv, I'm going to be screaming, and I'll be screaming at my stick saying, why didn't you perform? How dare you? Why, it's all limp in my hand now, it's just useless, right? Wow. So yeah, it's really for the average person. Doesn't matter, right? But everyone is looking for the fastest thing, and again, a bit like DTG. I have a Brook board, which is supposed to be faster than pretty much everything, and I just cannot be bothered to install it. I'm like, wires. There's no soldering, but I'm like, I have to unplug cables there, right? I kind of just scream at my stick instead, right? And I actually do have to run some tests again, because ever since that KOF session where I saw several input drops from the stick, right? I was like, wait, is this the stick or the game? Because I did not see a button press on the screen, and I'm like, I tapped it, nothing on the screen. I'm like, we got a problem here, Houston, right? And that is serious business, and a lot more excuses for me when I lose. And I pressed it. Yeah, I did actually, right? So anyway, so yeah, DualSense wireless controller inputs, great. Directional pad controlled with lever. Mute button not included. There's no mute. That's kind of funny. Now, we couldn't put that many buttons, right? But we got L3, R3. Yeah. Wait a minute. L1, L2, L3. Yeah, that's enough, isn't it? That's all the buttons. Right, okay. Oh yeah, and also on my last stream, there's some weird thing where the computer kept lowering my mic to 80% without me knowing. I was like, well, so no wonder my voice was low. It's just like, what's going on, man? Okay, so built for a fighting. I don't know how much. I don't know what else to say, right? To prove, right, that this controller is aimed for fighting game players, right? Non-slip mat. It's like this has definitely been a product of consultation, right? That they've made sure that this doesn't make people turn away. And this is the kind of most interesting part. I'm like, how did they manage to do this? You just have a very simple swap in, swap out gate. I'm like, how did you do that? That's amazing. That's just amazing, bruv. I'm like, and I mean, I don't know. I didn't, check if anyone else has already done this, right? But it just literally like pop, 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 and you don't have to go buy anything new, right? You're just like, yeah, you like square gate? There you go, right? You like octagonal? Okay. You want just circle? Okay, there you go, done. Dush. Of course, it will justify, of course, the 700 price tag as well, right? But it's amazing. It's all in one kit, right? That is really good. Okay. And then you got the dongle with a built-in rechargeable battery. Like, ooh, what? First of all, your dongle needs a battery. That is crazy, bruv. And I hope that means that it's faster. Right, that's it. Right. Fighting game players, be they man, woman, adult, our virtual hands are rated E for everyone. Yeah. Right. Yeah, maybe they did mess around with 3D tech. Yeah. See, that's probably it, isn't it? They're like, yeah, we've got our own 3D printers now. We can do anything. Oh, does that mean it's just going to snap in half when I pull it out? The hell, man. But you're like, wow, man, this has got everything. So it's got a dongle, it's got a cable. And it's funny though, right? Because it's got a dongle. So I'm like, hold on. What about the PlayStation 5? It's not just going to connect, or is that just for PC? Well, I don't know. For built-in storage for your restricted gates and PlayStation Link adapter. It looks like it. I mean, that's a bit weird. Right, you're telling me you got to stick that long thing into the PS5 and have it just sticking out. Why is it so long? Okay, whatever. But you know, it's a small price to pay. Small price to pay for super fast connection. But yeah, it works on PC as well. Of course it does. I mean, of course it does. I want to say of course it does, but today you're like, but yeah, it does, because a lot of people are using like even just like using PlayStation Remote. You know, the stuff, it needs to be recognized by the PC and work, right? And it's kind of crazy actually. It's like, I don't know how they do it, right? But literally, PlayStation Remote does not work with any other controller unless you plug in your PS controller, as far as I've tested so far. It's like, I'm like, bruv, it's a controller, let me work. Nope. Has to be PlayStation controller, and it has to be plugged in with a cable. I'm like, wow. Okay. Whatever. Right, so there we go, right?